External environment itself means that these are all factors which are not a part of your business. The company will try to understand the external environment only when the impact is felt. One side, you are trying to portray this company as one of the world's most trusted brand. But the other side, the cases that have been growing against this company marks a distinctive ideology altogether. Good morning and welcome to the 6th session on business environment. And today we are going to speak about the external environment. It's quite interesting that when you are doing business, there are so many factors that come in place with you and they try to attract, they try to disturb, they try to build in the entire environment altogether. So for any businessman, for any person, any organization who is involved in any nature of business, he is being attracted, he is being completely covered by the external environment. So let us have a look into the impact of external environment on the business. Moving forward, let's try to know the introduction towards the external environment. An external environment is composed of all outside factors that influence the impact of operation of the business. So it is very, very important that you try to understand the factors of the external environment. Now, external environment itself means that these are all factors which are not a part of your business, but they are outside your business. So what are those factors? Those are outside your business. It might be the economic, it might be the legal, the political, the social factors, so many factors that tend to come out. Now in this, what happens is that these factors actually tend to create an impact on the business. They try to disturb the business, they try to destroy, they try to build, they try to create a different economic aspect altogether. So the business must act or react to keep up its flow of operations. Many a times what happens is that people think that what is that's going to affect me? I've been doing my business is extremely well, I know my customers, I know my suppliers, I know my demand. But then what happens in the long run is that people suddenly start feeling the impact that because of a change in the government, because of a change in the laws, or because of change in some other factors, my business has got affected. So the external environment has got a serious impact in terms of understanding the business, in terms of understanding the environment altogether. So that's why I always say that the external environment's power factor or the influencing factor is much more higher than any other factor. Now the external environment, again, if I have to divide, is into two factors. One is the micro, the other one is the macro. So two factors you are going to see. You're going to see the micro factor and you are going to see the macro factor that comes into play. Now let's have a look into the diagram that is being given here. Now when you look into the micro factor, it is all about your management, your operations, your marketing, finance, R&D. These are all related to your business, your cycle. So what happens inside the organization when I talk at a micro level is probably only for your subject, your level, your ideology only. But this is well within the boundaries of the company. This is well within your organizational reach. This is not going to be having a far-reaching impact with the other factors. But when you look into the bigger atmosphere, the bigger sphere here that is going to talk about your economic, your legal, your competitive, technological, global and social, they will have a far-reaching impact as far as possible because you cannot stop them, you cannot control them as what you are trying to do or what you are trying to understand altogether. So these environment will have a far-reaching impact rather than your micro environment. Now going forward, let's try to go into that external environment types itself when I try to talk about that micro factor. impact the operation of the company. That's where the micro environment's importance comes into picture. Let me share an example with you. Now, let's say that you run a manufacturing organization which has got about 1,000 employees working. Now, because of a problem, let's say it might be resulting out due to payments or the non-supplying factor, or because you are not able to get the materials or some technical issue, the 1,000 employees are not able to come and work. Let's say among that only 100 employees report to the work. Now what happens here is that because of the non-availability of workers coming in, there is an impact on the operation. Now that is where the problem that is arising altogether. To share a live example with you, in the case of the Toyota Kirloskar Motors plant in Bidadi in Karnataka, the same kind of problem is happening. They are facing a lockout situation because there is a problem happening between the management and the workers' union. So what is happening in the real-time scenario is that somewhere down the lane, there is a problem, there is a challenge that is between the HR and the management. So what I'm trying to talk about, the human resource versus that of the management. So there is an impact, there is a collision that is happening. But then that is affecting only that industry. Now that is not going to affect Mahindra and Mahindra or TVS or a Honda company altogether. The problem is well within the walls of your company. It is only for Toyota Kirloskar plant. So that is where I'm trying to say the impact of the operation within the four walls of your company. So that is where the impact is on the micro environment altogether. But when I switch myself to the macro environment, those are the general factors that business typically has no control over. So when a COVID-19 happened, or when a tsunami happens, or an earthquake happens, or let's say there is a change in the government, or there is a complete war happening between two countries, that is not under the control of the company. The company will try to understand the external environment only when the impact is felt, but it will not be able to predict it beforehand and get into the scenario or get into the picture at that point of time. So what is very important for us here to understand is that the success of the company will depend only on the ability to adapt. As we all know this important factor, that change is the only permanent thing that is available in this universe. So you need to change yourself according to the situation, according to the need. If you are not able to adapt yourself to the situation, then you will not tend to survive. You will perish off very, very soon. So that is why we say that the adaptability of the company will speak about its survival. Moving forward, now let's look into the micro environment. The micro environment consists of the suppliers, customers, marketing intermediaries, financiers, and the public perception. So if you look into this environment, quite a tight environment, lot of people are involved, but all of them will have their own factors, own roles to play. Now starting from the suppliers itself. Suppliers actually choose the company with whom they want to get associated. You are a good manufacturing company. You definitely have got a good brand image. You have been in the business for a long time. But then the suppliers feel that somewhere down the lane, this company is not trying to help me out. Their payments are not in time. The quality is not in time. The receivable factors are not in time. So then the suppliers will try to bargain you out of this league. So the suppliers are purely related to your company. That supplier has an issue with you, not with every other company. So if you are having a tug of war, you are having a problem with your supplier, definitely that's going to have an impact in terms of your raw materials, in terms of your business. Similarly, when we talk about the customers, customers in general are different rather than customers of your company. When I talk about customers in general, that means to say that there are customers worldwide. Now, there are customers for every company in the world. Not every customer will have the same perception about the brand, about the logo. Now, if I like a Mahindra and Mahindra automobile, it doesn't mean that you have to like it. I might support Mahindra and Mahindra, but somebody else likes Tata as a brand. Somebody else might like MG, Hector as a brand altogether. Somebody might like Kia as a brand. So now what happens is that individually, for every company, customer is important. But all that customers will not have the same impact. They don't take the companies on a global scale. They take it at a micro level. They look at it as an individual perspective. So if your customer is having a problem with you, with your organization, then it is bound to see that that will create a problem, that will create an hinge altogether. So you might have to lose out on your customers. You might have to again relaunch yourself in the market with a marketing campaign. You have to go and tell people, sir, I'm available. I've not gone out anywhere. I'm again retrusting you. Please come back to me. Now, marketing intermediaries, which form a very, very big part, your advertisement channel, your media, the people who run the PR campaigns for you, they form a very, very important part, because what they are trying to say about you. Now, let's say that you are a company like Johnson & Johnson. Recently, there have been several cases against this company. Johnson & Johnson as a company has always been known and renowned for its baby products. It has been compared to one of the most trusted brand in the world. People compare Johnson & Johnson as something which is like a inherent brand, which is something runs in the DNA of all mothers and all the babies all together. It's supposed to be something which is just typically running at the back of every customer moment you talk about a baby product. But still, if you look into the marketing part of this company, there have been several times when people have taken it against, because people say the product of Johnson & Johnson leads to cancer in babies. Now, what is happening is that one side, you are trying to portray this company as one of the world's most trusted brand. But the other side, the cases that have been growing against this company marks a distinctive ideology altogether. People go back and complain about this company. People say that their products are not up to the mark. Now, the problem is that it is related only to Johnson & Johnson. I'm not trying to make this problem a common problem. I'm not saying that every company which is involved in the manufacturing of baby products are wrong. I'm only trying to say here is that Johnson & Johnson is severely affected because its marketing campaign, its trolls, the company and the intermediaries are going against it. So there is something severely getting into problem there. So what we need to understand, what we need to go here is that your marketing is turning against you. So you are affected, not the entire world. So that's where the micro level importance comes into picture. Followed by your financials. Are people interested to finance you? Are people interested to look at you as a potential employer who will be able to survive, continue doing the business? Can I finance him? Can I give him more leagues of money? We do not know. So now what is happening here is that every single point is trying to target you and go forward. In spite of the factor that the COVID came and things happened altogether, Ola was still able to go ahead and get another round of financing. The reason is that people believe that there might be externalities happening in the world. There might be factors that are affecting the business, but they believe in the brand. So that is the reason venture capitalists still believe that Ola is still it's one of the most topmost brands that we can go with. It's one of the businesses that will still continue for years to come. So they didn't restrict themselves from financing that particular activity of transport business. So similarly, if your financiers, your company is able to attract funds, is able to go ahead and tell people that yes, we are capable of running the business, then automatically finance is not a problem. You will be able to do it. Followed by, what is the public perception about you? Very, very important question. Why? Because what does the customer, what does the public think about you? Do they think that you are the one and only in this world? Do they believe that you are a superlative company? You are a trusted super brand? You are a, inherent brand altogether? You become something which is uncomparable in nature? What is that you have created in your mind? Now, let's say we'll talk about Cadbury's for a while in a business environment. What do people think about Cadbury's? Just a sweet? or just a chocolate, or just a sweet that is wrapped so nicely and just talking about the same dairy milk as a product altogether? Definitely not. Cadbury's has got a distinct image itself, not just as a chocolate, but it is more into the emotional branding for a customer. So what is happening here is that the micro environment that you are trying to face is entirely different from the macro environment. This cannot be explained to each and everybody outside because you are able to experience it by yourself. You alone know it, what is happening internally to your company. You alone understand the impact of each and every movement that is being talked about, followed by the macro environment. Now comes the real game, where we're going to talk about the political, social, economic, cultural, legal, and technological factors. Just look at the forces. Just look at the image altogether. All of these images, all of these factors that we are going to talk about today are different factors, are different denominations altogether. They come with a big surprise to every organization. They don't stop. They come with all kind of packages which you have never ever experienced before as an organization. Each one of them have their own potentiality to create an impact. So let's move forward and try to understand the economic environment altogether. For a country like India, I would just like to speak about these four factors: income, inflation, rate of employment, and the unemployment level. I will just go into the policies later. Now, the first thing that comes to the mind of any consumer is, what is the income? What is the wages that is going on in a country? Are everybody able to earn money? Is the government creating a conducive environment where we can go and earn our money every day? Is a situation where the prices are under control? Is a situation where all the FMCG products, all the goods, all the items that we are consuming, are they up to the mark, up to the level altogether? How is the employment level in this country? What is the unemployment level in this country? These are questions that run in the mind of every single citizen of this country. But unfortunately, not everybody spends time in terms of understanding the economics behind it, because we don't want to know it. Practically speaking, I need only answers. I don't need theoretical explanations. So what happens in a business environment is that it includes all kind of economic situations. That is the nature and structure of the economy, which has an impact on the business. So if your economy is not doing well, country is not doing well, your GDP rate is falling down, your exports are coming down, you have to rely heavily on the imports, your employment levels is going down, unemployment is going up to a great extent, inflation is just shooting up, you have a huge amount of public debt. All this is a situation that your country is facing, not you, not as a business, but then the impact will be on your business. The economic structure will come and hit hard on the business environment. You will suddenly start feeling that though I am a capable company, I have every single potential factors with me, but then around the level, I am not able to get the return because of the economic environment that is forcing me to shut down. That is forcing me to go back, think and understand and analyze that why is this particular problem happening only to me or only to my situation. That's because overall the outside economic environment is trying to create a push. It's trying to really come hard upon the business. The next factor, when we are going to talk about the social and cultural environment, imagine for a while that you are trying to start a business in a country which does not even respect human beings. Now, I'm not trying to become sadist, I'm not trying to speak negative here, but then that is a factor altogether. I still remember the case of Coca-Cola, what happened in Saudi Arabia, because they were not able to print the label properly and that started spelling a different meaning altogether in Arabic language. They were forced to shut down their operation and they were thrown out. Now, the color blue is supposed to be a bad color in South Korea and in North Korea because blue resembles death. Now, there are a lot of factors like this which I might sound weird enough, but then that has a factor from the social and the cultural impact altogether. Now, people believe that because of a certain color, of certain features, of certain methodology or certain practices that you follow, we might not be able to survive there. That actually violates my culture. That actually violates my living standard, my lifestyle altogether. So probably I have certain harm to the environment. I have certain impact to my environment altogether. Now, you might believe that my business is good. What am I really trying to destroy your country? Definitely not. I'm trying to do my business. I'm trying to reach my customers. I'm trying to generate my revenue. But I feel your business is not culturally a right fit to my situation or to my society. So I might go back and tell that please exit out of my country. So now you will start feeling that though I am being right, but then my external environment, that is the social and cultural environment, is pushing me out of the business. And this is quite true. In many countries, there are certain rules and regulations, sometimes so severe enough that the businesses literally feel that it is better we exit out of the situation rather than continuing doing business here. Followed by the political and legal environment. Now, India is not the only country where political factors are bad. There are several other countries in the world where the political factors are even more worst. Though in India, we always make a remark saying that India has got several political parties, several times the government changes, the Indian economic development is destroyed by them and all those factors. This is equally applicable to all the people across the globe. So there is something new about it. Now, you would have heard about the recent elections that happened in US. Now, the US election will definitely have an impact on the US economy also. Because what kind of government is going to come? What are the policies they are going to bring in? Is the previous policy still going to hold good? Are they going to change the policies? Are they going to look into the business in a different manner? What is going to be the tax cut? What is going to be the corporate taxation that's going to fit in? All these questions will definitely rise in the minds of people. So for a business organization, the question of political and legal environment is of vital importance. Who is going to be the leader on the top who is going to dictate the terms and policies? Who is going to be the leader who is going to tell us what is the right direction of doing the business? Recently, our Honorable Prime Minister was talking about a very, very beautiful concept called as demand demography and about the diversity factors that will make India an even more vibrant business place to happen. So now you are able to see that our country is being constantly promoted by our Honorable Prime Minister who wants to make India the next industrial hub, the next business hub as far as possible. So similarly, the leader, the business is directly dependent on the political leaders who will try to promote them, who will try to guide them to the next level as far as possible. So if there is not a suitable industrial policy that is set by the government, definitely the business is going to suffer. Moving forward, the technological environment which I would like to talk about. India is never new to technology. India has always been a country that has innovated technology as far as possible. And probably you name any technology, India is well versed with it. But then what is very, very important is that this technology consists of machines and processes that are available for a firm. And if the firm is not ready to adapt for the technology, automatically you are going to lose out on it. So if you're not ready to change yourself to the growing trend of the technology that you are seeing, automatically there's going to be a very, very worst impact as far as possible. Today, every single organization in India has got an offline and an online presence. Why is that they are trying to do it? Because today the technology demands like that, the situation demands like that. You cannot be a firm, you cannot be an individual entity trying to come up and say in this world, sir, I do not know technology. Probably you will be a fish out of water. So immediately what is coming out here is that technological environment will definitely decide what kind of impact it's having on the business. If your country is highly technically advanced, you also need to cooperate with that. You also need to sink in to that level of business so that you are able to move further. And this will also help you to reduce the unit cost of the output. Why? Because using technology, you can innovate the style of business you are operating. With this, I would like to come to the end of this session. I hope and believe that the information provided to you is of great help and of a great resource. In the next session, we will be talking about the other factors of business environment that decides and that makes the business grow well. Until then, stay tuned, stay blessed, and stay enlightened forever. Thank you once again for joining me on this wonderful session.